Good afternoon and welcome back to Cooking with Carol Diane. Today, by request, I am going to cook my shrimp linguine. Are we excited? Shrimp linguine today. And this is a recipe that pretty much like the carrot cake that I cooked, you don't want to skimp on the ingredients. So everything that I'm going to show you, please go buy, or if you already have, that's great, but go buy these particular ingredients because that's what works with this recipe. Don't substitute like my son does. Okay, so the very first thing that we want to do is buy a package of American Beauty is what I always buy on my pasta. I don't buy generic pasta. I don't like the flavor of it. So I always, whether it's spaghetti, whether it's macaroni, whatever it is, I buy American Beauty. Now linguine, we'll say it right on the package for those that don't know. Linguine is a little bit wider than a regular spaghetti pasta. That's what it looks like. I have gone ahead and cooked my linguine, and just like any pot that you would normally do, that put it in a Dutch oven pot and you cook it. And so here is my linguine all ready for this recipe that we will be adding in just a little bit. So that's the first thing you do. In a great big pot, put in some water, add some salt, wait till it boils, put in your pasta, make sure it's nice and cooked and soft, rinse it in the sink in a colander strainer and with cool water because that stops the cooking process, and then set that aside for a little bit. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my electric skillet again for the cooking purposes. You can do it in whatever pan that you have. As soon as I get the extra virgin olive oil to open, some things with me. Seems like I had it open just the other day. Huh. Isn't that kind of funny that that's not opening today? I'd have to help it along here. You want your heat of your skillet pretty hot because you're going to be cooking shrimp in here. Oh, for heaven's sakes. I had no idea this would be so hard to get that open. Of course, I never have anybody around to help me. All the men aren't around to kind of help me with this project. There we go. Got it on. It's always got a little safety cap in here for purposes of shipping it. Okay, so 1 good tablespoon of your olive oil in a hot pan. Hot pan. I usually do it on the stove in a pan very much like this one, but I'm going to be doing it here. Now, your shrimp. Little shrimp like this, you want them cooked and you want them deveined. Very important that they're deveined. If they still have the little tail on them, just pinch the tail and that'll come right off. Okay? I'm going to put this in the skillet. Good. You want it nice and hot. So get your temperature up there. Mine's about 375 right now. And we want to cook this shrimp until it's nice and pink. Nice and pink. While it's in there, and I always like to add the peppercorns to it while it's cooking. This is a nice flavor. And the sea salt. Okay. So while that's cooking, what we're going to do is have enough room here today. You're going to need some garlic cloves, and this is what a garlic looks like for those who don't know. Buy them in the grocery store in produce. It's very much like an onion. You just take off the outer skin until you get to the clove part, which is this. I like to cut off the little ends. I don't like those little hard ends on mine. Smash it down with your knife and then just kind of dice it up real small. This one's quite strong in the garlic fragrance, but that's okay. My husband loves garlic on anything. Anything. Again, just snip off those little edges on the tail ends of them. Stir your shrimp around a little bit. So this recipe, again, linguine pasta. Get the good stuff of American Beauty. It calls for a pound of shrimp. I've got my little cheat sheet here because I haven't made it in a little while. I lost the recipe in the move. Finally found it. So 1 package of linguine of all of the pasta of the noodles. Then you're going to need 1 pound of the shrimp peeled and deveined. Put your salt and pepper in there and start cooking it until it is nice and pink. Once it's nice and pink, which it is right now, we're going to take this out because we need the pan for the things. We're just going to kind of set it aside in here for a minute. I like shrimp every now and then. I make that good cold rice shrimp salad, and it's real nice to have. Set that aside a minute. And the next thing that you'll want to do is, yes, there's still a little juice in here, but now we need 4 tablespoons of real butter, and 4 tablespoons is 1/2 of one of these sticks of butter. So we're going to put that in there. Let that melt nice down in all those little juices. And then we're going to add the garlic. It calls for 3 cloves of garlic, so there's 2. Another big one here. The garlic. First time I ever made this recipe, all of my kids were coming for dinner. It just happened that I finally got them all to the house. And I cooked it and served it with a nice tossed salad, and every single one of them really enjoyed it. In fact, they had second helpings. They really liked it. So anytime there's something that you have a second helping that you like, mix it again. Okay, we're just going to kind of put that in the skillet here, making sure that that butter gets all nice and melted. And then it calls for 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. So this is what they look like. And they are hot. So if you aren't one to have spicy foods and you don't like that, go sparingly on it. So I'm going to go my 1/2 teaspoon of the flakes in the butter sauce here. And we're going to cook that until it's just really kind of fragrant, making sure that that butter gets melted some more. Put the lid on it here. Also, it calls for cherry tomatoes. Now, these are the little cherry tomatoes. They come looking like this. And what I like to do is, you need to cut them in half. Here's my nice little knife that I like, again, that's thin and it's got the serrated edge on it. So I'll just be cutting these in half while this is just kind of doing this little thing in here, getting very fragrant indeed. And turn your heat down because you don't want to scorch it on the bottom while you've got your tomatoes. Getting these all done. Cherry tomatoes are so nice in so many foods. Everybody knows that you can put them in salads, but so many different dishes that you can use these little cherry tomatoes. And last year when I planted my little cherry tomatoes, oh my gosh, it was like they multiplied. I think I only had about 5 little plants out there, and every time I went out in the morning, they were just dripping with cherry tomatoes, like grape stew on the vine. Well, that was my cherry tomatoes. I had so many I didn't even know what to do with all of them. Canned, most of them. And if they're a good cherry tomato, they'll be sweet and nice, just like eating candy. They really will. Okay, so these tomatoes are going to go in here. Finish cutting up here. And if you don't have right at 2½ cups, that's okay. I'm kind of little short by about ½ cup of my cherry tomatoes. But everything else I bought just for this recipe. Like I said, you don't want to skimp on this of having substitutions. It just won't taste the same at all. Okay, so there's our cherry tomatoes in the skillet. You want to cook these now in this nice buttery sauce. Go ahead and turn back up your heat and cook that in there until your tomatoes get nice and soft. Everything's going to go back in the pot eventually. It's just we have to get a couple of ingredients in here while we're doing this. I can sure smell the flakes of that, the red peppers in here. It smells real good. It really does. It's a gorgeous afternoon. I thought I was having my granddaughter over for the weekend, but then they called and canceled that because I was going to make this for her. So I'm going to enjoy it tonight. Why not? If you have some recipe that you like, let me know about it. But this is one in the family that I said the kids really liked it. And now that they're not kids anymore, they're adults, they're grown men, they still like it. But they need to learn how to cook it the correct way and what is in the recipe to make it so good. And this is why I'm going to show you this. It calls for some lemon juice. So we're going to take a lemon, fresh lemon. Yes, you can use lemon juice, but I prefer the fresh. Anytime you have anything fresh, to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the fresh lemon juice. Just of 1 lemon. Doesn't matter if it's medium or large. You just want the juice out of it. Squeeze that all good. Okay. Those are looking real good. Okay, so now what it calls for is, yes, the lemon juice to be put in here with all this mixture. And heavy whipping cream. You can buy any brand. This was the only one that I could find at the grocery store. So much now when you go to the grocery store, oh my gosh, it's either not there, missing off the shelf, you know, they don't have it anymore, can't find it. They've moved things around in a grocery store. So this is your sauce, and this is the main sauce that's going to go in here. A nice heavy whipping cream in here. Isn't that looking good? And you want it to be in there where it thickens, which it's already kind of doing. You want just a nice sauce in there. Again, add some more pepper. Add some more salt in your sauce. Now we can put the shrimp back in. Main thing is to get the sauce going. It smells so good. It really does. It smells really good. So here's the little key ingredient that my son forgot about. that he kind of skimps on. The bigger the shrimp, the better. You know, you can buy them even bigger than this to put in here. I like large shrimp. I really do. Here is the nice ingredient. Parmesan cheese. Not cheddar, not anything else. Not the Parmesan that you shake over spaghetti in a can. Get the fresh Parmesan cheese. And it does call for a half a cup of the cheese. This is a cup, measuring cup. Half a cup of the cheese, and that's going to go right in here. This is the mistake that people make when they're making this, is they buy the wrong cheese. Has to have the Parmesan cheese. You want that to get nice and hot until it's thick and nice and hot. I like to take it out and put it in a bowl because we're going to garnish the top of it with some more just as soon as it gets ready here. And I'm so excited because this is a real tasty meal. It really is. I said you don't need a whole lot with it. Maybe some buttered garlic bread and a nice little tossed salad, and you've got dinner. Quick and simple and easy. These are my recipes that I like to show you. Doesn't take a whole lot of prep time to cook this. Now it's looking very nice. Very, very nice. So here's where I'm going to be adding now the linguine of your noodles. If they have sat in your pan just for a little while, that's all right. Pour just a little warm water to them and they come right back to life. So now we're going to add the linguine in here. Doesn't that look good? And you just kind of work that around like you would spaghetti if you were making spaghetti and had it in one pot. Yeah, I wish you were here to smell it because it smells so good. It really does. Just smells heavenly. And then we'll take a nice plate that we're going to put it on. And this is your simple shrimp linguine. Doesn't take a whole lot of ingredients, but the main thing is the heavy whipping cream and the Parmesan cheese. And then you top it with some more of the Parmesan. A little bit more of your salt and pepper if you'd like. Set nice French toast, not French toast, but garlic bread with a nice tossed salad, and you have a nice little meal. I always like to try my recipes after I get done to let you know if I like it. This is a recipe. You can always add more of the red pepper flakes depending on how spicy you want it. Trust me, a brand new bottle of this, it's pretty potent, it really is. So it's got a kick to it and very flavorful for a shrimp dinner and one that we all like and enjoy. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me make my shrimp linguine from my kitchen to yours. Have fun cooking in your kitchen. I'll see you next time on Cooking with Carol Diane. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.